Welcome to part 3 of the beginner tutorials, and let's just get straight into it. We're going into edit mode. Before I'm actually going into the edit mode, I want to show you some ways to add our geometry or add some extra objects. If we delete this, which you can do with X, delete, you can always go and click on Shift A, and add a mesh, curve, or whatever you have here, right? So let's add a mesh. We want to add let's do a UV sphere. Awesome. So now we've added a UV sphere. I will keep this in the select box. I like it the most to work with. And right now, let's jump into edit mode. I always do this with tab, but you can also click on here and go to edit mode. But with tab, you can go from object mode to edit mode and back. See? Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about edit mode. First thing is vertices. Vertex select. These things here are called vertices. Okay? And our whole geometry is built out of vertices. So you might have heard it from games that they want as less as possible triangles, which are made from vertices and all that stuff. So these are the vertices that they are talking about. If you connect two vertices together, you have this thing in between, which is called an edge. And you'll have them here as well. So you can select just the edges. So between two vertices is an edge. And between 3 or more vertices, if you connect them, you can have a face. And these are faces, as you can see here. Awesome, right? So everything that we used before will also work right now. And that is very, very cool. So let's say the move tool. We can move this face. We can move this vertice, right? We can select multiple vertices, which you, by the way, do with Shift. You can select just more than only one. And we can rotate them. So R, if you still remember. R. Right? We can scale them up. So everything that we used before, we can also use in here, which is very, very cool. And this is just the most part. Like, this is super important. Like, if you guys really understand this, then your whole modeling future will become way easier. And yeah. So rotate, scale, and all that stuff works in here. If we look more down here, we have more options right now. They weren't here before. Extrude, inset face, bevel. So let's go to extrude. You can also do it with E. And I just like to do the shortcuts, but as you click on the plus here, you extrude these vertices and faces, right? So you can really just select a view. You can click on the plus, or you just use E. So A. Bam. Very, very handy. Inset faces. So if you want to inset faces, you can click on E. The E. You can see it down here, by the way. E. And now you can inset some faces. Awesome. This is also very, very handy. Actually, all these parts are quite handy. So bevel, I can't really show that in a sphere. So I'm gonna get a cube in here. And I'm gonna show you the bevel. Bevel modifier. And which is also just Control B. See what happens? You create a bevel. So you can do this all the way around. And with a lot of like these tools, you actually get a little thing down here, which you can expand. And here you can give the bevel way more options than only with your mouse. So before accepting this bevel, so let's say I click somewhere now. Now, let's do a click here, let's say. Now I cannot change this bevel anymore, and that is why you still have to be in the selected bevel version. So Ctrl B, if I now click it once, then I can still change a lot of stuff. If I click somewhere else, like if I select another vertex or whatever, then I cannot go into this mode anymore. And then you just do, if you still want it, you can just Control Z and you do it over. But yeah, you can change here the width, segments, and all that stuff. We'll of course go later into that. This is a bit more advanced, I would say, but keep in mind that this is always there for you. Awesome. So after the bevel, what do we have? We have loop cuts. So a loop cut you can also do with Ctrl R, or you can click on this loop cut tool and you can see this orange or yellow line coming up. This yellow line just creates new vertices and new edges for us. See? It literally just creates. So you can also do this with Ctrl R, by the way. It's the same. Ctrl R, and you can see that this pops up. If you scroll your mouse button up or down, you have multiple loop cuts. Right? So that's kind of what that does. It just gives us more geometry and it's very handy to work with. We have a knife tool here, which is also just K, if you click on K. And now you can literally just create another edge there and do that stuff. So, but you can have a lot of options with the knife tool. You can click over here, and all these red points, vertices will be created there, and yeah, could be handy. Be careful though, because you mess up your faces in the other places. That is the knife tool. Polybuild, yeah, and this other stuff is not really important right now. So let's go over some selection tools. As you saw, we can just select anything by clicking on it. I have my, like, the old setup still, so my right mouse click is actually selecting something. But with most of you guys, it's the left click button is selecting something, okay? So if you see right click here, it's probably left click with you guys. So that is selecting a vertex. If I want to select multiple ones, then I hold shift. So shift, click, shift. You can just I just hold shift, keep holding shift. Click, 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 click. See, and this is how we can select the multiple vertices at once. There's also a very nifty option, and that is the C. If you click on C, you see this little circle coming up. You can expand or collapse this circle with your middle mouse button. You can just scroll it up or down. And I'm gonna click it right now and I'm gonna hold my mouse button down. Everything that goes inside my circle will be selected. Very handy. If you want to deselect everything inside, then I released my left mouse button right now, so I don't select anything. And now I'm gonna hold my middle mouse button, so the scroll button, I'm gonna click it in. And now you can see that I can deselect everything that is inside my circle. Very, very, very handy. We also have the B. It's for the box selection. So with B, I just click on B. I click once, hold it, and now my selection is going to be expanded wherever I put my mouse. And everything inside the selection will be selected once I release it. So release. And also with this tool, if I do click on B and click on my middle mouse button, then everything inside here will be deselected. Awesome. So let's say I want these all to be selected at the same time, but it's kind of hard. Yeah, right now I can maybe do this, but then I have the chance to select this one by accident. What you can do is you can go into what you call wireframe mode. You can click on Z to go into wireframe mode, and you can see that we can look totally through our model. You can also click on here. Look, wireframe, solid mode, and then we have material or textures, and then materials and rendered. So wireframe mode. If I select now something, bam, you can see that I can select through the model, which is super handy, especially with stuff like cubes and stuff, right? If I want to select the middle part, I'm just gonna do my box selection tools, and now I selected all the middle part. So now I can scale it up. That is kind of an intro into this, and I have way more stuff coming up, and it's already on my own website. So if you want to look down in the intro, I have a monthly program when you really learn how to make models, like really cool looking models. And yeah, I also got some loads of free stuff on there. So take a peek. And the next part is gonna be more about, yeah, let's do texturing, but a little of materials, and I'm gonna explain you a little bit about that stuff. So, see you guys there, and yeah, no, keep it cool.